What up, Joe? On my way to work. So I'll give you a quick little breakdown. I don't believe in a supernatural God. I don't believe in anything supernatural. To say something is supernatural, all you're doing is saying, I don't know how to explain it. And that not being able to explain all the mysteries of the world is the most natural thing, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't believe in a supernatural God. And when it comes down to it, we're all just guessing anyway, so since we're guessing anyway, I'm just going to do me, and whatever seems logical and fun, that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm one of the theists that happily admit that I believe in imaginary friends, but if it wasn't for imaginary friends, I wouldn't have friends at all, except for my dogs. So what else is it? So let's get into it. So I got the Dark Light Decalogue. So I was thinking about what are the fundamental traits, if you had to think of fundamental traits of existence, okay? And the first 5 of the Dark Light Decalogue are empirically verified, and the second 5 are like a fractal metaphysical extension of the first 5. So there's unity, and these are all in order as well. Consciousness, okay? Unity and consciousness. Now, there's all kinds of scientific proofs for unity, all kinds of scientific proofs for consciousness. Now from those first 2, it fractalizes on to darkness and light. So if you think about it, what is the physical mechanism which connects all things, okay? And to me, that would be darkness. Darkness connects all things. That is the unity of all things. Atoms are 99% dark and empty. The universe itself is about 95% dark and empty. Those numbers don't exactly match, but they are similar. That is self-similar. That is a fractal, okay? And to continue on, so you got unity, consciousness, dark, light, and light is a fractal extension of consciousness, right? So number 5 is paradox. I do believe that there's different types of paradoxes and contradictions. You have easily disprovable contradictions and paradoxes, and then you have scientifically verified contradictions and paradoxes, such as the wave-particle duality, such as Heisenberg uncertainty principle, such as Gödel's incompleteness theorems. So from there, the second 5 of the Dark Light Decalogue is more of a metaphysical extension of the first 5, okay? I admit there's not as much scientific evidence for the second 5, but to continue with it, number 6 is freedom. And these are all directly linked to the first 5 as well. So number 6 is freedom. Number 7 is sovereignty. So freedom is linked to unity, okay? And sovereignty is linked to consciousness. Number 8 is infinity, okay? Infinity is linked to darkness. Number 9 is remembrance. Remembrance is linked to light and consciousness. And number 10 is saturation, which is linked to paradox, because everything is saturated in paradox. So when you combine them together, you have unity is freedom, consciousness is sovereignty, dark is infinity, light is remembrance, and paradox is saturation. So that's the Dark Light Decalogue. And I also have God is my least favorite term. I just use the term God to take it back from the damage that has been done to it by the followers of Abraham. So my favorite term is the fractal singularity omnimatrix. A fractal is a self-similar, infinitely repeating shape or expression going to the micro and macro. Singularity is the state of being singular, and omni means all, and matrix is something which allows the growth of something else. So the states, the singular state of fractal self-similarity, it provides the matrix, the womb in which everything is allowed expression. So the fractal singularity omnimatrix is my favorite term for God. And a couple of my sayings I like to roll with is all consciousness is an extension of the omni-consciousness. We are all co-creators within the Godhood. So I call myself a true monotheist, but people are like, well, you say we're all God, right? So you would be a polytheist, but no, that's only if I think everything is divided and separate. Okay. Almost hit a deer. So that brings us back to number 1 of the Dark Light Decalogue, which is unity. Everything is united. So everyone is a fractal living extension of God. We are all God. It's my imagination. I'll do what I want with it, but that's what it is for me. And this probably won't send on Facebook, so I'm probably going to have to upload it and then send it to you from one of my channels. So in that case, I'll just roll with it. We are all co-creators within the Godhood, and as such, we are all God. And people will say, okay, then, well, we all die. Yes, we all die. God lives. That is why it is the eternal living God, because how can it be the eternal living God if it is separate from all of life, as the followers of Abraham like to proclaim? So God is intrinsically interwoven into all of creation, not set aside from creation like followers of Abraham like to say. See, I was called on by the actual one true creator to defy the broken theology of Abraham everywhere that I encounter it. And what makes the theology of Abraham broken is that it incessantly attempts to interject division into that which is united. And they interject division through constructs such as sin and holiness, okay, such as the saved versus the damned, such as God's people versus the world, okay? So, and to that which created all things, there is literally nothing to be jealous or vengeful of. Okay, as soon as you claim that God is all loving, as soon as you claim that, you then create the problem of evil. Without that claim of an all-loving God, you don't have the problem of evil. And while we're on that note, I don't believe in evil. I don't believe in sin. I believe in bad, but bad is not the same thing as evil. Evil requires a dogma to be juxtaposed over the everyday experience of bad. Followers of Abraham attempt to manipulate fellow co-creators into relinquishing our divine sovereignty unto the systems and establishments created by the Abrahamic religions. Okay, to me, divine sovereignty is our inseparable connection to the actual one true creator. Now, if God is a perfect creator, okay, and I would agree with that statement, then everything that he creates is as well a perfect creation. And as such, there is no such thing as evil. There is no such thing as sin. And followers of Abraham will like to say, oh, well, free will, oh, well, knowledge. Okay, free will and knowledge, right? So did man create that or did God create that? Most will say God created it. And if man created it, then there's something that exists that God didn't create. So you cannot combine any amount of perfect creations together and call it imperfection, which is exactly what followers of Abraham attempt to do. They like to say God is a perfect creator, but he created man, but he created free will, and but he created sin. And because of the way you guys combine that together, there's imperfection and sin, right? Nah, nigga, you got me fucked up. nah, hell nah. So creation is the fruit, right? So if the fruit is imperfect and sinful, then the creator is imperfect and sinful, right? I got a little theological discussion with a hardcore Christian that's got an answer for everything coming up on Sunday at noon. Maybe you can hop in for that, check it out in the comments or something if you got time. But I've already had a talk with him and about bunch of contradictions and stuff, and he had an answer for everything. And some of them answers did not make sense. Some of them, you're like, okay, maybe, feasible. But some of them, I damn sure had his ass stumped up on, and we'll get into that. But, fuck, I was losing my place. So yeah, I don't believe in evil, right? There is no evil. Now, there's horrible things in the world. There's things I don't agree with, but I wouldn't call it evil because, okay, check it out. Life feeds on life. Life feeds on life, okay? And whatever is getting eaten by other life, they will, that's bad for them, right? as beings that require certain conditions in which to thrive and survive, right? As soon as those conditions are threatened or taken away completely, we will inevitably call that bad. Bad is a everyday experience that every single circumstance-dependent being will inevitably experience. Then religion attempts to come along and they attempt to co-opt bad and call it evil. But these are different things. That they're not the same thing. Religion attempts to, like I said, co-opt and they attempt to manipulate co-creators into relinquishing our divine sovereignty. I already covered that one. Let me see here. What else? I'm trying to give the dark light theology to you in a nutshell here. I don't know. I guess that's a good chunk of it right there. If you got any questions, hit me up. But like I say, it's my imagination. I do what I want with it. None of us fucking know anyway, right? None of us know. See, that's another thing. Knowledge. I don't believe anything can be known. Nothing is known. Things are only perceived. And I also say that there is no such thing as objective truth. There's no such thing as objective truth. There's no such thing as objective morality. All truth and all morality and every single thing that is dependent upon a consciousness to observe it is inherently subjective to that consciousness. So that's another one of my stances. Now, I'm writing 3 books. I'm writing one for my poetry, Dark Light Poetry. I'm writing one called The Big Beautiful Book of Defiance of the Broken Theology of Abraham, where I totally eviscerate the Abrahamic religions. And then I'm going to be writing my 3rd book is Dark Lightism, which is my theology. And it's a work in progress. You know, I'll happily admit that. I call up atheist shows all the time and have them raw dog the fuck out of my theology. I hang out with atheists a lot. Like, atheists and pagans are my niggas. Yeah, well, I was raised pagan. I never believed in any gods, but I did believe in the supernatural when I was younger. I don't believe in the supernatural anymore. And when I say I was raised pagan, it was like loosely pagan. My mom was raised Jehovah's Witness, and she was kicked out just for being a different weirdo, you know. And she studied everything, and she encouraged us to study all religions. She liked to claim pagan, but, you know, in retrospect, when I look back on it, she was more along the lines of omniism, which is where you believe that there is truth saturated within every single religion. And omniism is something that I kind of stumbled upon, and that most closely aligns with my theology, although it's not very developed. And I started making my theology way before I heard about omniism. And there's definitely parallels with my theology to other existing theologies out there. Although I didn't copy them, I'm just doing my own thing, and there happens to be parallels. But nothing under the sun is new. Things are only reinvented and reassembled in novel ways, right? So, I mean, I'm definitely working on it. It's a work in progress. But, you know, if I'm going to be capitulating to some bullshit, it's going to be my own bullshit. It's not going to be someone else's bullshit. You know, I pull it right out of my ass, but at least I know my ass is real. My ass is real. I know that for sure. And all these other motherfuckers are pulling shit out of people's asses that we don't even know if they really existed or not, such as Abraham, such as Moses, such as Jesus, such as Mohammed. There's actually we're not even 100% sure these motherfuckers existed, right? So at least I know I exist, and I'm a fool for my own folly. I'm not a fool for someone else's folly, as we all are, right? But that's where these religions come in and attempt to manipulate us co-creators into relinquishing our divine sovereignty, which is our power. These religions are powerless without us, right? Why do they need so hard for us to capitulate to them, right? An all-powerful God needs nothing, and that's something I missed that I can touch on. See, the omni traits. I don't. In my theology, the only omni trait that I would agree with is all present. The fractal singularity omni matrix is all present. It is not all powerful, because all of creation is a perfect creation. And to me, with my theology, the one thing that the one true creator cannot do is it cannot transmute a perfect creation unto imperfection. So I found something that my conception of the one true creator cannot do. And I don't believe in all knowing, because I don't believe anything is known. I would agree with all perceiving, but there's a difference between knowledge and perception. All loving ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't submit to that at all whatsoever. So I would say that as far as the omni traits go, the fractal singularity omni matrix is all present. It is everywhere, because it is actually the darkness is the one thing that combines all things. Now I got some theories for you too. All right, I got some theories for you, homie. So now these are just theories, right? These are just theories. I'll admit that. But see, I don't think that light moves. Light does not move, okay? And that has to do with the fractal singularity omni matrix. Okay, the speed of light, that's not actually measuring the speed of light, okay? That is measuring the pressure of darkness. Light does not move. The darkness in between the light moves the light like it's on an escalator, but we don't see the darkness, okay? All we see is the light, and we see the light seeming to move. But the light isn't moving. The darkness around the light is moving. So the speed of light is actually a measurement of the pressure of darkness. Now all it takes is the slightest fraction of a difference, a variation within that speed or that pressure, and now you're in a different dimension. Okay, I call it the omniverse. There is near infinite dimensions. Okay. And I believe they all exist at the same time and place simultaneously. That is the singularity, okay? Everything exists at the same time and place simultaneously. That is the omniverse. That is the fractal singularity omni matrix. And so essentially the net sum of everything is zero, okay? Which is nothing. Everything is nothing. There's another paradox in that, because there's no such thing as true nothingness. You have the quantum fluctuations, right? So, but the quantum fluctuations is the one thing hiding in the darkness, hiding in the emptiness that connects all things. And within these quantum fluctuations is every single universe, okay? Now, these are just theories. These are theories. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress over here. But like I said, if I got to be a fool for anyone's folly, it's going to be my own. I got to lean on my own understanding. And that's another thing. Abrahamic religions are constantly saying, don't rely on your own understanding. That's just a manipulation to try to attempt to get the co-creators to relinquish our divine sovereignty, our power. And it's trying to manipulate us into giving it our power. But why does it need our power if it is all-powerful, right? Because it is not all-powerful. And anyone who has read the scriptures enough, they will clearly see many situations where Right in the scriptures itself, right there, there's situations where their proposed God is not all-knowing, is not all-powerful, is not all-loving. Okay, one big thing is it can't forgive without blood. The Abrahamic gods cannot forgive without blood. It is my saying that followers of Abraham are a blood cult of sin worshipers. All right, 100% blood cult of sin worshipers. And I do not, anytime they talk about blessings, it is blood blessings. You know, they are talking about blood in one way or another when they're talking about blessings, the followers of Abraham. So I do not participate in any Abrahamic blessings. Anytime they attempt to, indoctrinate me into their cult, I will tell them, thank you, sir, but I am not participating in sin worship with you today. I've had them tell me, we don't worship sin. I don't know anyone that worships sin. Okay, cool. Well, what's your reaction to this statement? There's no such thing as sin. At that point, they will quickly backpedal, right? They will quickly backpedal and say, what are you talking about? We are homogeneously saturated in sin. There's sin all around us. Oh, but I thought you said you didn't worship sin. Oh, we don't worship sin, but it's everywhere. No, there's no such thing as sin, and your insistence upon juxtaposing sin over all of creation is a clue that you are worshiping sin. Sin is the first fundamental aspect of Abrahamic religions. That they actually worship sin, and they call for blood to cleanse the sin. The blood of Jesus for the Christians. You know, you have the blood of animals and anything that doesn't submit to your perception by the Jews, right? And then with the Muslims, it's the blood of anything that does not submit to you. But it's all a bunch of it's a blood cult of sin worshipers. So this right here is to my homie Joe. I'm gonna have to upload this to one of my channels, and I'll send it to you. And I'll put this on my Theology channel. I can't upload anything on my main channel anymore, Dark Light Delirium, because I got too many strikes on it for saying for being too awesome. You know, they don't like it when you're too awesome. They start giving me strikes, and I'm just grateful they didn't delete all my content. I got to download all my content, and I'm gonna make a website and put all my content on a website. That way I still got it. I need to make my own platform, man. YouTube is not the platform for me. They have made that abundantly clear. I've been posting videos on YouTube for almost 3 years now. I got 750 videos, and they don't show me to people. You know, I know there's people all around the world that would love my content, and they ain't about sharing my content with anyone. Now, I know my content is raw, and damn sure the production value on it is fucking zero. I know that, but I also have interesting ideas and all kinds of character. And I call it anti-charisma. Like, I don't give a flying fuck. You know, you got them people that are all like super charisma'd out. It's kind of like an anti-hero. I got anti-charisma. I'm an anti-hero. I just do my own goddamn thing, but a lot of people could roll with that, and I know they do. That could very well be my narcissism talking. Okay, I'm about to pull into a store right here and get some coffee. About to go do some concrete. All right, this one's for you, Joe. This one's for you, homie. The first thing that stood out to me about you, Joe, is the first time I watched you on Durante's channel about 10 months ago, is your compassion, man. You're so compassionate and empathic, and that's one of the things that stood out to me. Now, I did take the test. I took the personality test. I'm 75% narcissistic. Okay, I'm cool with that. The other 25% is compassion and empathy, you know. So we got a nice little mix in there. But these days, if you just love yourself, you're called narcissistic anyway. If you love yourself in any overt, shameless way, then you are called narcissist. So I don't give a flying fuck. I will be called any name you want. But one thing I will not do is hate myself. I do love myself, and that is a newer development in my life since I was 30. I'm 40 now, so for the past 10 years, I've been loving the holy flying fuck out of myself. You know, and you know what? I haven't been depressed. I haven't been suicidal. And I used to be very depressed and suicidal most of my life till I was 30. And what happened was I watched this movie called Requiem for a Dream, right? And this is a fucked up movie. This is not a good movie. but I gleaned a lesson from it. So it could be worse, right? And the lesson I gleaned from it, because in the movie there's 4 main characters, and at the end of the movie, these 4 main characters are all in a super fucked up position in life. And for some reason, the thought occurred to me, you know, if I kill myself, anyone that loves me is going to end up in a super fucked up position that I could have helped them out of. You know, and it's funny because the people that I was thinking of at that time have all turned their back on me since then. But I have taken that lesson with me. You know, you know, I took that lesson with me, and I haven't been depressed and suicidal ever since. And once I realized that I am a co-creator, I create the world that I live in. The world that I have right now is the world that I have created for myself. And if I don't like that world, all I have to do, I have the power to change it through our beliefs, through our thoughts, and through our actions. We create and shape the world around us. We have the choice to walk into or to walk away from any situation, okay? We have that choice. And through that, we shape our world. We create our world, okay? And as far as creation goes, I know I keep using that word, true creator world, but I don't believe in like the creation of the Abrahamic religions where, you know, let there be light and all that. Like, I believe in an eternal universe. There was no actual creation, but there is infinite recreations, okay? There is infinite rearranging of what was already there, because, you know, the law of conservation of energy, matter cannot be created or destroyed, right? So there was no creation, but there is infinite reiterations and recreations of what is already there. I couldn't have done this 30 seconds at a time on Facebook, so I just made you a video because try to get it all without being interrupted by constantly having to restart the video. So, all right, Joe, that's the dark light delirium for you. The dark light is upon you. Stay beautiful, motherfucker.